Hey there, are you ready for another joke? Bird brains. An elderly woman walked into a pet store and spotted a parrot she liked. She asked the store owner if it was for sale. The owner shook his head. I wouldn't recommend it. That parrot's got a bad mouth. You don't want the trouble. Determined, the woman said, "Don't worry, I'll teach it to behave." She took the parrot home, but as soon as she settled in, the bird blurted out a bad word. Outraged, she put the parrot in the freezer for 10 seconds as punishment. When she took it out, she asked, "Have you learned your lesson?" The parrot let out another bad word, so she put it back in for 30 seconds. Finally, she removed the shivering bird and asked again, "Well, have you learned your lesson now?" The parrot said, "Yes, I learned my lesson." But, what did the chicken do?
Hey there, are you ready for another joke? The note. This morning, I went to the kitchen to make myself a coffee. On the fridge I spot a note from my wife that read, "This isn't working, I'm at my mother's." As I was thinking what could have gone wrong, I opened the fridge to grab some milk. That's when I realized the fridge was working just fine.
Hey there, are you ready for another joke? The ultimate challenge. A confident guy full of himself boasts about how smart he is and challenges a quiet, simple guy. "Let's play a game," the confident guy says. "You ask me a question, and if I can't answer, I'll give you $100. Then I'll ask you a question, and if you don't know the answer, you give me $5. Deal?" The simple guy thinks for a while and agrees. The confident guy goes first. "All right, here's an easy one. Which planet is closest to Earth?" The simple guy thinks for a moment, shrugs, and hands him $5. "Ha! It's Mercury," the confident guy says. "Your turn." The simple guy pauses, then asks, "What animal has 3 legs, can fly, and carries 3 times its weight?" The confident guy is stumped. He scribbles notes, thinks for some time, and finally, defeated, he hands over $100. "Fine," the confident guy says. "What's the answer?" The simple guy pulls out $5 and says, "Here you go. I have no idea either." Hey there. Time for another joke. The cowboy's warning. A cowboy struts into a saloon and orders a beer. When he steps outside, his horse is gone. He storms back into the saloon, slams his beer on the counter, and yells, "All right, listen up. I'm giving whoever took my horse 5 minutes to bring it back, or I'll do what I did in Texas." And trust me, you don't want me to do what I did in Texas. The room falls silent. The cowboy orders another beer, and sure enough, when he steps outside, his horse is back. As he mounts up, the bartender runs out and nervously asks, Sir, what exactly did you do in Texas?" The cowboy tips his hat and says, "I had to walk back home." Hey there, are you ready for another joke? The final wish. My husband was a good man, but he had a little problem. He was way too attached to the material things in life. On his deathbed, he held my hand and said, "Honey, I've saved $100,000 in my bedside drawer. Promise me you'll bury it with me so I can use it in the afterlife." I nodded and said, "Of course, dear." A few days later, after the funeral, his sister pulled me aside and whispered, "You didn't really bury $100,000 with him, did you?" I smiled and said, "I loved him and wanted to honor his wish. So I buried a check." Hey there, looks like you're here for another joke. The magic lamp. 3 guys are stranded on a deserted island. Suddenly, they stumble across a magic lamp buried in the sand. They rub it, and a genie pops out. "You each get 1 wish," says the genie. The first guy blurts out, "I wish I were back home with my family." Poof! He vanishes. The second guy, grinning, says, "I wish I had a luxury yacht to sail back home in style." Poof! He's gone. The third guy looks lost, but thinks for a while as he doesn't want to waste his only wish. After some time, he gives up and says, I wish my friends were here to help me.
Hey there, time for another joke. The supermarket. A brand new supermarket opened, boasting cutting-edge technology and the most immersive shopping experience ever. In the milk aisle, there's a video of cows grazing in lush fields, complete with the sound of mooing and the scent of fresh hay. In the meat section, you hear the sizzle of sausages on a grill and smell buttery steaks cooking. The bakery is like stepping into a Parisian cafe. You can see bakers kneading dough while the aroma of freshly baked bread fills the air. The only thing I'm buying online is toilet paper.